international news.
President Buhari describes manufacturing sector as critical to the nation's quest for economic diversification and survival. Independent National Electoral Commission declares winner of Edo State governorship election. Information Minister restates need to move National Festival from being forum for showcasing arts and culture to a tool for economic growth. You're welcome to the news on NTA International. I am Ifeanyi Okafor. And top on our news, the federal government has promised to remain focused in the implementation of its strategic plan towards unleashing the full potentials of the nation's manufacturing sector for sustainable economic prosperity. President Muhammadu Buhari stated this at the 44th Annual General Meeting of the Manufacturers Association of Nigeria in Abuja. He described the manufacturing sector in particular, as well as agriculture, as critical to the nation's quest for economic diversification and survival.
To boost manufacturing activities in the country is supported by Nigeria's Industrial Revolution Plan and the National Enterprises Development Program. These programs present a clear road map towards an industrialized Nigerian economy. As events unfold in the coming months, many of you will be called upon to play critical roles in the implementation of the administration's agenda. I implore you to avail as your wealth of experience so that together we can uplift our nation's economy and social well-being.
House correspondent Adamu Sambo reports that the meeting had as its theme diversifying the Nigerian economy, the role of government in manufacturing. Now to politics, as the Independent National Electoral Commission has declared the candidate of
foreign investors to invest in the country, as well as their willingness to support internally displaced persons.
Regarding the $391 million pledged at the side event on Lake Chad, an event that was organized, in fact, by the United Nations. Yes, these are brand new pledges by a number of countries, not just the US, the UK, Belgium, and a number of other countries. So that was a very important deliverable result of that of our engagement and our being present in New York.
The minister said Nigeria will continue to call for restructuring of the United Nations Security Council, especially the permanent seat category, which he said the country is ready to serve as the voice for Africa. In Abuja, Oyeyemi Ajayi, NTA News.
Ahead of October's second commencement date for this year's National Festival of Arts and Culture to be hosted by Akwa Ibom State, Information and Culture Minister Alai Mohammed has restated the need to move the festival from just being a forum to showcase arts and culture, but a tool for economic growth. The minister stated this at a media briefing in Abuja to herald the 29th edition of the festival. Anthony Forson reports.
The National Festival of Arts and Culture began in 1970 as the Unity Festival after the Civil War as part of efforts to reunite the country. Today, the festival has succeeded in reawakening national consciousness and the drive to leverage on the abundant potentials in the cultural industry for youth empowerment and wealth creation, in which Nigeria has comparative advantage.
This is why this administration has included the creative industries as well as tourism among the core areas for the diversification of the economy away from oil.
With the theme, exploring gold mine inherent in the Nigerian creative industries, it is geared towards using the various cultural products and expressions to develop a creative economy.
There is today an urgent need to bring Nigerians closer together as a people amid the widening divisions along ethnic, religious, and social lines.
The festival is designed to promote indigenous cuisine, music, and cultural services. In Abuja, Anthony Forson, NTA News.
In the meantime, Nigerians have been urged to channel their creative energies and abilities towards wealth creation.
And we recognize the important role it plays.
With the current economic challenges in Nigeria, the need to explore the hosting of this event for revenue generation becomes imperative.
It is the technological advancement of Africa that will also capture the essence of our economic, social, and cultural development.
It's about the social media. This information must be there. We need to capture that. We need to replay it. We need to make sure that that's deliberate program.
The one-week event is expected to be held in February 2017 in Abuja and Lagos. Chukunonsonwa Bueze, NTN News.
Away from arts and culture to agriculture. The United Nations Industrial Development Organization, UNIDO, has pledged support for Nigeria in her efforts towards meeting the international standards of agricultural produce for export. In this regard, the Federal Ministry of Agriculture has commenced sensitization of farmers and food handlers on effects of toxins and fungi on agricultural produce. Musa Babaliu reports.
Toxins contaminants to agricultural commodities due to poor harvest, storage, and packaging techniques have been identified as a major challenge to Nigeria agricultural produce at the international commodity markets. The major concern is on what scientists called mycotoxins, which over the years has taken a large toll on human and livestock consuming contaminated crops. The toxins is associated with crops such as maize, rice, tree nuts, and peanuts, along with fresh fruits and vegetables.
The European Union and the federal government of Nigeria is also looking into the problems of rejects of our goods. It's basically to help Nigeria to be able to be well positioned in the international markets.
I want to call on farmers and food handlers to also carry out a periodic examination of the agricultural products to ensure that they are devoid of fungal contamination in order to protect public health and secure good market for our agro commodities.
The African Union is also supporting Nigeria with machines capable of screening crops before taking to international commodity markets. In Abuja, Musa Baba Aliyu, NTA News.
The wife of the president, Mrs. Aisha Muhammadu Buhari, is back to the country after successfully attending the 71st session of the United Nations General Assembly in New York. Mrs. Buhari arrived Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport, Abuja, Thursday morning on board a commercial aircraft. State House correspondent Aliu Kabir reports that Mrs. Buhari, who attended various meetings at the side event of the UN General Assembly on issues related to the upliftment of the lives of women and children, is optimistic that their future is assured. The senior special assistant to the wife of the president, Dr. Hajo Sani, sheds more light on the significance of the trip.
Actually very successful. Her Excellency, the wife of the President, Mrs. Aisha Muhammadu Buhari, apart from attending side events, she was able to meet with world leaders and donor agencies like Melinda Gates of Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. She also had a meeting with African First Ladies.
This message is brought to you by the Federal Ministry of Information and Culture.
NTA International News. Africa as it is.
Great to have you back on the news. Exportation of agricultural produce for increased foreign exchange earning for Nigeria has been identified as one of the ways out of the current economic recession in the country. Head of the Civil Service of the Federation said this when she played host to the leadership of the Nigerian Institute of Animal Science in Abuja. Adebola Brooks Lane Sunday reports.
Regulation of animal husbandry production for increased profitability and production systems that will embrace environmental sustainability and ensure high quality and quantity of animal protein in Nigeria is the mission of the group. Leader of the delegation, Professor Hustes Iyayi, believes the body has all it takes to support the economic diversification policy of the present administration, but require high level of professionalism to achieve good results. Head of the Civil Service of the Federation, in her response, commended their role towards creating a viable economy, urging them to bring to bear their high level of professionalism in the agricultural sector.
We need people like that to help improve the quality of livestock and processing of animal produce, both for local consumption and exports.
We try to regulate standards in the industry, in the academia, and also have social responsibility to make sure that our people get safe animal protein.
She also received in audience members of the Head of Service Sports Club and enjoyed all civil servants to be involved in sporting activities for their physical fitness.
We want officers who are smart and agile. And of course, you know that now sports is a major revenue earner worldwide.
And with this now is a motivation for us to do more.
Mrs. Oyoita had earlier decorated the sportsmen with medals, while she was in turn presented with the trophies won. Adebola Brooks Lane Sunday, NTA News.
The federal government has declared Monday, 3rd October 2016 as public holiday to commemorate Nigeria's 56th independence anniversary. In a statement signed by the acting permanent secretary, Minister of Interior, Mohammed Machido, the Minister of Interior, Lieutenant General Abdurrahman Bello Dambazo, congratulates Nigerians at home and in the diaspora on this year's independence anniversary. The minister, however, appeals to all Nigerians to support President Muhammadu Buhari-led administration as he is determined to build a stronger and more united country, which has always been the dream of the nation's founding fathers. He reassures of government's efforts at providing palliative measures to cushion the effect of the present economic challenges. Meanwhile, the Independent Anniversary Parade is scheduled to hold at the Presidential Villa, Abuja. The military parade will involve a ceremonial parade by the Guards Brigade of the Nigerian Army and will feature the traditional firing of the artillery gun salute. A statement from the Guards Brigade requests members of the public, especially those living within Asokoro and its environs, not to panic at the sound of the simulated firing of military weapons during the anniversary parade at the State House. Away to education matters now. Education Minister Adamu has made a case for the reintroduction of history as a subject in schools and the disarticulation of social studies in the current curriculum to enable Nigerian children understand the full sense of humanity. The event was a ministerial session of the 61st National Council on Education. Franca Uzoma Olwa reports.
The removal of history as a subject at the basic education level has consistently generated a lot of controversy in recent times. With the gathering of the highest decision-making body in the education sector, the minister posed these questions to delegates.
How can we know who we are when we don't even know who we are not? How can we know what to make of our society when we don't know how our society itself is made up?
And having knowledge of the society also requires the full knowledge of God in order to build character.
I urge you to consider making the study of Christian religious knowledge compulsory for Christian students and the study of Islamic religious knowledge compulsory for Muslim students.
The National Council on Education provides opportunity for participants made up of commissioners for education, heads of education institutions, and international development partners to exchange ideas and information on how to
Northeast this year.
while more than 4 million people are facing severe food shortage and 65,000 people are living in famine-like condition. Hence the need to scale up funding and assistance. According to the statement, UNICEF's Director of Emergency Program, Ashfan Khan, says children's lives are literally hanging by a thread. Hence the need for greater international support to provide critical humanitarian assistance. The release also states that 60% of health clinics in the areas have been partially or completely destroyed, and 70% of water and sanitation facilities required urgent rehabilitation in Borno State. Adding that nearly 1 million children are now displaced, while 1 million are out of school, and hundreds of thousands are psychologically affected from the horrors they have lived through. UNICEF further said out of $115 million appealed for, only 28 million has been received so far, and this presents a serious obstacle to humanitarian assistance in the region.
Now, the need for governments at all levels and indeed Nigerians to key into forensic and investigative auditing in tackling corruption has been stressed. President, African Region, Nigeria chapter of the Association of Forensic and Investigative Auditors, Dr. Victoria Enakwe, said this in Abuja at the first annual conference of the association. Joseph Johnson reports.
It may no longer be news that fraud and corruption has over time destroyed the Nigerian system. Many have in fact attributed the fallen economy to the rising trend of unchecked corrupt practices. Compounding these are the challenges faced by the audit team and a general lack of the necessary skills set to collect the right audit evidence critical to criminal investigation. This crop of Nigerians drawn from key sectors of the economy say they are here for an urgent rescue mission.
If our children must not suffer tomorrow, then we must ensure that we get the necessary knowledge of forensic audit and investigation